That's a neck full of riches, Henny straight. Snubs to the Rockets, for the love for the chopsticks. Ran up from the plug and I pop shit. Faced with immeasurable odds. Some of you niggas found pleasure in God. Measuring rod, they treasure their jobs. Athletic build, moving with purpose. Tapped in the magnetic fields, moving with serpents. Took my brokers to stroker, Al Roker. Couldn't predict the storms that followed, the porn that followed. Same a tree that formed for Rollo. We made it rain and we burnt money. Bentley truck, interior burnt honey. Anyway, I take respect over riches any day. I take neck from your bitches any day, penny weight. That's a neck full of riches, Henny straight. Shifting through paradigms, the color of Geechee Dan. Drifting through the Carolines, Gullah in the Geechee land. Time will tell. We move around in 33rd parallels, like Coney Island carousels. Fell asleep in Roswell, woke up in Cozumel. Pyramid hopping, chariot shopping. #1 seller, author of conscious fiction. Composition, confidence dripping. Continent drifting, a walking contradiction with a contradiction. Brooms and mops, Mr. Clean. We conquered the kitchen, facts and fiction. Contrary to popular predictions. Red pill, popping your prescription, stopping your addictions. Yeah, bitchin' with the hoes. Black magic, yeah, bitchin' with the souls. Anything goes, cooking in Brooklyn. Woo! Bombs. Peace, love and light to the family. You are now rocking with the best. This is your brother Red Pill, building for another episode of, you already know, Third Eye Thursday. Peace to the family. Can I get a roll call so I could give a shout out to everybody that's in the building? You know I'm talking about. Make yourselves comfortable. That song that you just heard, that's a little snippet right there. That's Bill Bixby. Off of that project, Money Sign Phil Moreland. That's the new album coming up. Walk with me. West Phoenix in the building. Florida in the building. East Oakland in the building. Virginia in the building. Salute to VA. Tucson, Arizona. Milwaukee in the building. Boston in the building. And I'm talking about Oakland in the building. South Carolina's in the building. Watts is in the building. Alabama's in the building. Newark, Brick City is in the building. New Orleans is in the building. Salute. All right, New Jersey in the building. LA Town, all right, Town Biz. Oakland in the building. VA in the building. Cali in the building. 757 in the building. Oakland in the building. The town. Salute to everybody. Colorado. Peace and love to y'all. Kansas City is in the building. Salute Frisco in the building. Yes. Salute to the gods in Frisco and the goddesses. East London in the building. All right. Omaha. Indeed. Yes, sir, Cedric. I got you, King. I got you. Connecticut. Salute to Connecticut. Empress B is in the building. Everybody give a shout out to Empress B, the mod. And she is in the building. Salute to her. Yeah, the town is definitely deep in here tonight. Salute to all of y'all. I can't wait till we get out there to Oakland very, very soon. $804. All right. Salute to 804. Okay. 757 is deep. They done popped up a few times.
Cali repping. Casey Cooper's in the building. The Compass Circle. Salute. All right. VA is definitely deep. Richmond is in the building. Look, they say Virginia is for lovers. And the love that I got when I went to Norfolk, Virginia, from everybody that I encountered out there was something that I definitely want to I want to definitely continue to thank y'all for the support and everything when we had our pop-up shop at the House of Consciousness in Norfolk, Virginia last weekend. It was lit. You know what I'm talking about? And we're working on getting down there on the anniversary of the lecture that we did earlier this year called The Conscious Industry, and Blue Pill did this thing as well. We're working on getting back to Norfolk to do a lecture sometimes in August. So we'll keep you updated on that. All right. Yeah, man. How y'all been? It's been a minute. You feel me? I have not been doing Third Eye Thursdays. I went on my hiatus, but we're in the spring season. So as promised to the family, I kept my word. I'm back in the spring, springing forward. Now, tonight's show, I'm following up after watching my brother Black Dot show. Okay, I just tuned in to Urban X podcast, and Urban X podcast, the brother said that this was the last show. Now, if anybody listens to this channel right here, I've went on record at the end of 2018. I said that that was the best show on the internet. You know what I mean? Like I gave him all of the respect because of what I saw, the son father son dynamic, and what it spoke to, and what it represented in a seat, or in an environment, and a surrounded by fatherless men and women. Earlier in the year of 2018, we all saw the Black Panther movie and whatnot. We were introduced to Killmonger. Later on, when people were unpacking and decoding Black Panther, they were talking about the the archetype that Killmonger represented in today's society, and how they were, pointing out certain things to build up the psychological profile of this powerful anti-hero. And then the relationship that the Killmonger archetype had, not only with a majority of the new rappers, and I'm gonna break it down in a minute, not only a majority of these new mumble rappers, or the some of the biggest stars that hip hop is seeing, but also a lot of our brothers and sisters that we personally know in the hood, who easily could relate to that Killmonger archetype. What's the archetype? Well, the archetype that they showed us was this man was a fatherless child. But not only was he a fatherless child, he had the Heru. He was following the Heru mythos because he was avenging his father's death, all right? The Asaurian tale, or the Asaurian myth. So he's raised up in the town in East Oakland, the same place where the Panthers, this is Black Panther, the comic book, but they place his character in Oakland, in the home of the Black Panther, but he represents the bastards of the party, the son of the Panther, okay? And he falls into a life of crime. He has issues with violence against women. If that's not um, a comparison to the behaviors, or to the hypermasculization, or to speaking to what the fear factor is that many people have when they stereotype black men, right, about being violent towards women and whatnot, but you never hear them say anything about Caucasians. But you know, they showed that he had no respect for his elders, and Killmonger did not have respect for the divine feminine principle, because he killed multiple women in the movie, right? Unapologetic. He shot the girlfriend in the head. He choked out the elder in the rose garden. and then he did something. He killed another woman. I think on the battlefield. It was Adora Malaji. So when we looked at the people who were popping in hip hop at that same time that this character or this archetype was being introduced to the psyches and the subconsciousness of everybody, because the babies went to see the movie, Nana and them went to see the movie, and all of that. And remember, he was revolutionary. Let's keep that in mind. That the Killmonger character still was like, he was a killer, right? He was an egomaniac. He was obsessed with power, and you know he was an orphan. Okay, he was a fatherless child. You know, he was thug life. The hate you give little infants fucks everyone. You dig what I'm saying? That's the archetype that he represented. Now in hip hop around that same time, you had different archetypes who were almost the same as this character that they were, selling to people. You had Takashi 6ix9ine, you know what I mean? With the women issues. Around that time they locked up NBA Youngboy for draping up his shorty and dragging her. The same thing, violence against women. With the Takashi case, not only you had the violence against women, but sexual violence and whatnot. Um, there were a lot of other rappers who were going into all of, what they were getting caught up with all of these sexual charges. Remember, it was that period when all of these rappers were catching these, especially the younger ones and whatnot, you know. So the fact that, we have this whole Killmonger thing, you know, and we know that this programming that they did with the movie by introducing that character or that archetype, but making that archetype and making that character the anti-hero, but also making T'Challa's character the archetype that they were selling. He was more of the statesman. He was more of the cosmopolitan. He was more about unity and bringing people to, what I mean, people together. He was working with the CIA. You feel me? He was allowing them to come into his operation. So they just played, they is once again, this is what Hollywood does. They basically create these archetypes, you know, and they create these. It's like a meme in a sense, but it's a certain kind of archetype. And then later on, they begin to paint our people in that light. So immediately after the Killmonger thing, this archetype, then we started seeing all of the attacks on black icons, right? First Cosby fell, okay? Then you have the situation with MJ, taking him down. And you have a lot of situations, you know, with the rappers and things of that nature, where they're just strumming that thing that they're beating that drum and whatnot. So you know, I'm just pointing that out. I'm just pointing that out. You know, yes, somebody is asking about booking. Um, the best way to contact the best way to contact me about any kind of business would definitely have to be through the email. There's two emails. One is the mart125th@gmail.com, and the other one is ktlempowerment at gmail.com. Okay, so the email will be in the moderator with the wrench. The email will be right there. Be able to write that down, screenshot it or whatever, you know, put it in, put it in your archives. But hit me up if there's any business inquiries, and I'll make sure that somebody gets back to you. As you can imagine, there are a plethora of emails and correspondence that come in on a daily basis. You feel me? So, you know. But how has everybody been? I haven't really been paying attention to what's going on in the news like that. I know there's a whole bunch of stories that are, popping up and popping off and catching people's attention and swaying people's, uh, distracting people and swaying them from whatever path they may have been on. You know, the New Zealand thing, we spoke about that in the last episode that I did. I did a Melanin Monday when I made my return, back to this platform. I did a Melanin Monday called Black Magic Monday at Brother Richard's crib, and that's a classic right there. That was a beautiful episode. Flood in Africa, yes. Mozambique, yes, yes. That's definitely sending out love and light to the family out there, sending love and light to the Ethiopian family, sending love and light to the families in New Zealand and things of that nature. I'm not the kind of person to revel in any kind of human disasters and whatnot. You feel me? But what I do know and what I don't want to forget about is the fact that we are currently in a new season, okay? The moon, okay? We just had a Libra full moon. It was last night. The effects of it is still in effect tonight. The portals are very much open. This is a very important time. We had a moon and an equinox at the same time yesterday. Uh, that is a very, very, very powerful doorway. That's a very powerful time. This year alone, celestial wise, is just rife with opportunities. That's all I see them as. I don't call it full moons, new moons, or whatever. These are opportunities to really make some things manifest because your manifestation is definitely connected to the lunar energies. The same way, if anybody was into farming, the same way that crops grow, right? The same way that the crops grow under the UV rays of what? Of the of the moon, not necessarily under the sun. So tap in by any means necessary, any way that you can see, because the power is in the now. So I don't even want to start and I don't want to open up this whole show talking about anything other than the present in the now. We could get to the other shit in a minute, but right now, as we sit here, we're sitting in power right now. You may have tapped into some shit, or you may be strapped in unknowingly. You may have done something that's you know you may have made something manifest. Your shit might be pouring in because, like I said, it's spring. So there's different New Year's. There's a fiscal New Year in January, and then there's the New Year for those who are in tune with nature, and that's right now. That's the beginning of spring. Okay, that's the official New Year. So now it's time to spring forward. Those who were in hibernation, those who were falling back, those who were conserving their energy, those who were in the lab cooking, you know what I mean? Those who were in the kitchen, locked in, strapped into the stove, cooking up. Those who were just watching and observing and seeing how people and things and places are moving and making, and putting their plans together by having clear vision, by not being distracted by all of the things that get thrown out there to take us off of our game, right? So for those individuals, the spring is definitely a time for them to pop out. Okay. So everybody that's popping out and you got that tax money, right? And you're making some moves and you're creating some businesses and you're investing in some inventory and you're manufacturing some things, or you're investing in hardware. You dig what I'm saying? Upgrading your hardware. That's something that I did when I was on vacay. I know you noticed the lights a little brighter in here lately. Yeah, we got some lights, baby. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm down with Team Steven Jobs. I'm on the iPhone side right now. Yeah, so things are big things are going. Yeah, I'm like Bujo just came home. Yeah, big thing are going. So one of my one of the best advice that I could give brothers and sisters in this time that we are in right now, where people may have a little more than they had 3 months ago, 6 months ago, or 9 months ago, is to pay attention to the economy, pay attention to what's going on, financially around the world. You feel what I'm saying? Pay attention to the different groups that you see, or better yet, that you don't see homeless. Start with that. This is how you could begin to assess what formula or what kind of method or what kind of model a different group may be using that you may have to either learn or, borrow or edit and make it your own. I have yet to see, I'm in New York, New York City. I'm in New York State, goddammit, where if I drove 14 hours going south, I could hit Atlanta. But if I drove 14 hours going north, I'm still in New York. That's how big New York is. I don't know if people realize that. New York City is a morsel compared to New York State. The shit is humongous and it touches Canada. And they have 70 plus jails spread throughout all of those little towns and whatnot that are housing some of the brightest, sharpest, most bravest, realest niggas that you would have ever met in your life. You know what I'm talking about? Some of these people are some great people, and they got them trapped behind these walls. They have them on plantations. They have them in slavery. So even with that, with the size of this whole state, I've traveled throughout this whole state. I have yet to see homeless Africans. I have yet to see a group of homeless Asians. And for some strange and odd reason, I don't see homeless Arabs. Now, I've seen Africans who lost their minds and who roam the street on their zombie shit. I've seen Africans on drugs in African areas doing African shit, doing zombie shit, doing ZZ shit, right? But throughout New York City on the train IRT system, somewhere I fucks with the underworld. I fucks with the underground. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so I bees on the train. I like going through that experience. Like real talk, it's an experience. It feeds my creativity. It's shit that I can't get in a car. So I'm underground a lot. I'm with the rats in them. You know what I'm talking about? Splinter and Takashi. And I pay attention to the homeless epidemic that I'm seeing unfold in front of me because it's multiplying. These niggas are like Wreck-It Ralph breaks the internet. This shit is subtract. It's fucking multiplying. It's not subtracting. Like they're getting ready for their zombie shit for real. And it's getting more bolder these days. Like there's homeless people that take over a whole car on the train and set up shop. Y'all know about that? I'm just not the kind of person that'll take his camera out and turn this shit into a video shoot. But they're taking over cars. Rightfully so, because the level of positive and negative ions in the air. Okay? You don't want to go in these cars. It smells like a Tatiana convention. Okay? So you don't want to subject your nostrils or your nasal passages, you know what I'm saying, to so much funk. And I'm not talking about the kind of funk that George Clinton and Bootsy brought you. I'm not talking about funkadelic. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about if cleanliness is next to God, nigga. I'm talking about the devil's funk, nigga. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the devil's funk. These niggas got claws. Like I've seen homeless people who are half dinosaur. No wonder they don't have housing. You know what I'm saying? You can't have these niggas got claws. You know when cause I don't want to say anything more, but still, I haven't seen certain phenotypes of ethnicities in the homeless population that is flooding New York City, and it's almost you can't unsee the shit. It's everywhere, right? It's a bunch of ADOSs. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of people who are the residue of one of the realest wars that hit the shores of Northwest Mexico. And basically, you know what I mean? If niggas really do the numbers, that's why we need a quantum computer plug. You know what I mean? Tsunami on these niggas during the crack wars. The number is tsunami, and what I'm talking about is the pedigree and the stock of people that got washed in that government sponsored, right, 100-year planned government sponsored drug war slash flooding of black, prosperous, still on an uprise, even though they're trying to beat us down with Jim Crow, redlining, you know what I mean, quarter waters, government cheese, all of these things that they was hitting us with, heroin, the heroin epidemic that nobody even gets into. You gotta preface that before the crack wars because the heroin shit broke the camel's back and the motherfucking crack took the legs out. You know what I mean? We were not in these conditions in the 1800s. We were not in these conditions in the 1700s. Get your story straight. We were in a worse condition from the fucking 70s up until now than we've ever been. It wasn't niggas that was not slipping like that in the 40s. Look how they dressed. Look how they carried themselves. Our people always want to look for white people to verify and to codify and to fucking certify the level of wealth or the level of prestige that our people had when they had none. Do you understand what you niggas are asking for? They don't even want to see you shining today. Why would they show you any pictures of when you were shining prior? That will take away the fiction. That will take away the story that these niggas have sold you, that you was scary, groveling, you know what I mean? That you were the help. That's all they told you niggas. And niggas fell for that. And they are definitely royally the help. Look at the Daniel Caesar nigga with the blonde hair. We'll eat his food in a minute. Niggas is the help. And that's the mentality. The help. Subservient. You know what I mean? Asking motherfucking people for stuff when you supposed to go get it. You know what I'm saying? Niggas with their hands out, with shaking the cup. You know, all of that shit. You feel me? That's not Carthaginian. That's not Kemetic, my niggas. That's not Moorish of you, my guy. We don't do that. That's not what a sovereign does. You build your castle. You chase them crazy ball heads out of town, nigga. You clear your land. How about that? Niggas got estates. Like, how about that? You find out who own who. You find out who got rights to swaths of lands, to estates. Cause I know that the people around me, although they, like I said, we lost the cream of the crop during those operations. A lot of people in the South. I just came from Virginia. I'm tapped in. I could feel the loss of the souls. I could feel the death. I'm a Scorpio. It's a weird superpower that we have, my niggas, but it's real. We drove. Did we drive past the cemetery? I'm trying to think. I could feel the death in the air. You understand? You have mad brothers, right? Especially black men. right? Who were the children of civil rights era black folk, post Vietnam, and even post World War II. So for the GIs and the veterans who came home on a World War II swag, they start blocking niggas. The GI Bill wasn't giving our people. You see this shit? Look, how about that? You see this? You see the drip? I hope you niggas got on scuba gear when you check me out. But yeah, put your ponchos on, cause it's drippy right now. Wait, hold on. Let me hold on. Yeah, it's getting hot in here. Let me just loosen up. Let me stop. But you know, I got drip for sale. I got drip for sale. Shout out to Houston, man. Shout out to what? Shout out to Jay Prince. Shout out to Jay Prince. Cedric, I got you, King. So where was I? The brothers, I have to paint the picture because I don't ever want anything to be lost in translation. That we are still bouncing back from a severe uh, PTSD slash, a crazy, and like I said, I can't speak for everybody because this shit is, you might be in Nebraska listening to this. You might be in some other part of town listening to this. This might make no sense. I'm speaking from a New Yorker's point of view who survived the 90s and the 2000s to make it to right here and not be washed. Nigga, I'm 43. You need to, if you seen my yearbook, you would, you know what I mean? Like you would have PTSD yourself. If I showed you all of them niggas on Facebook that I went to school with, how everybody's looking these days. But it's a lot of people that look good, but these streets are unforgiving. These streets are unforgiving. It's niggas that's 20 years old right now that look like my uncle. How about that? How about that? They look like my mama's brother or something. You feel me? And then the ill thing about it is we have solutions to homelessness. That's the ill thing about it. We have solutions to homelessness. Homelessness is an opportunity. Homelessness is a layup. Not, I'm not, and to preface, like I said before, I'm not talking about people who are zombied out. I'm not talking about people who have clear mental health issues where they need some whole nother kind. They need a detox or an exorcist. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some people who are down on their luck and they still belong to a labor market, or they still have a talent and a skill or a skill set, and they still have a trade, and they're not afflicted by drugs addiction, because that is the dividing line between when our people were great and when we were not. You understand? That shit has a lot to do with it. Even though we indulged and we were still always experimenting as far back as I do my research, but it's when we begin to abuse, and it's when we begin to succumb to, the drugs are using us. Niggas ain't using the drugs. The drugs using you. All we got out of that shit is a few good mixtapes and some dope fucking some classic albums by some of these artists. But what the fuck has the drugs compelled any of these niggas to invent, or how far did they take the conversation or the narrative, the only narrative that really matters sometimes? How far did they take that? Are these niggas doing what Sam Cooke and them was doing? Are they doing what Nina Simone was doing? Because like I said, we all have the reference points. You know what I mean? Niggas got Netflix. So if we didn't see it, we might have heard about it. But for those who don't know what I'm talking about, they're revealing to you in these documentaries that Nina Simone, she didn't just talk about it. She was babysitting Malcolm X's children. She lived next door to the God. You feel me? I'm getting ready to light up this incense. I'm about to introduce this incense to the market, to the family, and coming up real soon. This is a brand new incense. This is a brand new take on incense. All right, you see this? The incense that you burn on the sticks. Public service announcement. Those incense that you get from the Chinese store or you burn on them sticks that got all of that oil. A lot of those don't. It's like it's not good. Okay, a lot of crazy mixes. They cutting it with all kind of stuff. Like it's just not. It's not It's not good. So we got this new incense, and this is the truth right here. Not only does it smell good, but it makes you feel good. Like it just gives you a good feeling overall. Okay, so I'm gonna light this up real quick so I could get in my vibe so we could build because this is some serious stuff that we got to talk about. Y'all all right? So yeah, so when you realize what this quote unquote influx or you know when you realize with this proliferation or this drowning of drugs in our neighborhoods, were ultimately designed to do, right? Then you realize that, some of our people played a hand in an operation, a wartime operation. A war, remember, this is war. This is the drug war is on record and on paper as a real life war. Real talk. It goes on record as a real life war with real life casualties. And the way that they flooded the hood with that dope, the way that they flooded the hood with that crack, the results of it are being felt to this day. But the people that we lost in the interim, these are some great people. So there's a void. There's a you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of work to be done because I promise you, if 5%, and I know the character and I know the integrity of some of the people who were lost getting caught up in that lifestyle, because everybody has the opportunity to evolve and change and has the opportunity to grow up. A whole bunch of people that are considered master teachers or god body, you know what I mean, or living true and living gods. A lot of them had checkered past and checkered histories, and they too were troubled teens going through the cycles of living behind these goddamn in the wilderness of North America, living behind these enemy lines where you don't even have to be you don't got to be halfway awake. You know what I mean? You could still be knuckle dragging on a weekend and see with your you don't even need your third eye open to see it at the end of the day. You know. So it's a no-brainer at the end. It's a no-brainer. Like I don't even got to convince that job is over. We're entering a whole nother phase. We're entering a whole nother phase, and that's something that I also want to reiterate that, you know, I could reminisce and talk about some stuff, but I'm not wallowing over nothing. Everything is going according to plan, and and just because of the fact that I don't even have to try hard to convince somebody now of what it is, they get it. Like they're like, "Yo, I get it, bro. It is what it is. Like, what's up? What we gonna do?" And that's where the conversation is going. What we gonna do? So we gonna do some things because we got a lot of things that we about to do. You know what I mean? And we've been doing some things, and we about to do some more things. You feel me? So, you know, has anybody seen Tricky Dicky on CNN or Tricky Dick, whatever that's called, the Nixon documentary? I wonder in the documentary, I haven't seen it at all, so I wonder if they get into it about the his involvement with the war on poverty, how he was green lighting a lot of COINTEL, because remember, this is the COINTELPRO president. This is the president that, through Watergate, they found out about COINTELPRO through Nixon's office and his little war on the war on drugs that he declared, or the war on poverty that he declared, you know, that had adverse effects in our people's neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things have to be brought to the table. All of these things have to be addressed. The fact that we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that after the quote unquote Vietnam War, when the war on drugs that was declared by Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan, this war on drugs helped perpetuate the wholesale genocide and murder of the ADOSs in America post Jim Crow. And it's been shown and it's been proven by both Gary Webb and a whole slew of other people of the CIA involvement in the quote unquote flooding. We have Rick Ross still willing to put his hand I don't know, on a Bible. You know what I mean? He might be able to put his hand on a Quran or put his hand on the tablets or something and, tell the truth about some of the things that took place. Because that's an argument that needs some kind of restitution. There was a war, yeah, people might not realize a war on drugs. There was a real, actual, on paper war. So when they were locking up the '94 crime bill, the fact that stop and frisk, niggas getting 80 years, all of the federal sentencing guidelines, all of these things are wartime um, actions against the super predators, against the people who they try to pussyfoot and say, oh, we're going to help prison reform and we're going to free the homies. Don't worry about this. If you elect me, I'll be able to, cleanse everybody's records. All of these all of this hope on a rope. Meanwhile, it looks like they just cooking niggas daily. Daily. You know, hope on a rope. Like Black Dot had the shirt, Hopamine. So watching Black Dot in the show, it made me feel like, damn, it put me in the audience because I did the same thing when I kind of went on my hiatus. And I was getting a lot of emails where people were like, damn, bro, like I was depending on this shit every week. So I decided to do some stuff with Rich every now and then. And, those videos did what it did. You know what I'm saying? But we back. We in the building. Blue Pill been doing this thing. Go and check out Tough Talk Tuesdays with Ken Bripson. You know what I mean? He's a legend. I love his perspective. He has an interesting viewpoint. If people could get with Star as the objective hater, then you could get with Bripson because he doesn't follow he doesn't follow the masses or the group think. He's gonna challenge the way that you may see some things. So, you know, I don't want to focus too much on the drugs. I don't want to focus too much on the past. I don't want to focus too much on anything that's, not in front of us. Like I said, this is a new time right now. Like we need to be focusing on making sure that this year is a legendary year. Ain't this the Jubilee? Ain't this the Jubilee? You know? Ain't this some time? I mean, what the fuck? What's in the Jubilee? Do we get a boot? Do we get a concert or something? What do we get in the Jubilee? You feel me? Like what's happening? Like what's being planned? Is there some monumental shit? Is there a million man gathering for the Jubilee? Is there gonna be like a retreat? Like what's going on? You feel me? What's happening? I think we should set something up. Um, I think that it's safe to say that there's a spiritual energy at play. Um, I feel a spiritual energy somewhat. It's not hard to explain, but I'm seeing things take off. I'm seeing certain energy moving, and it seems like it's in alignment with what this year represents. And pushing a conversation, because I see conversations being, I see the train leaving the station. So I see conversations in their beginning stages, but my foresight, I'm seeing how that conversation has the opportunity to evolve into a grown conversation, into a more legal, to a more solution based, to a more definitive conversation at a bigger table. So you know, I think this year is a monumental calendar year. It's a monumental um, time in this in this Gregorian calendar, of course. But the energy and what it represents, this shit is real. Like it's here. 2020 represents a new beginning, a clear vision tonight on this full moon, tonight, on this right after the equinox. Put your intentions on a piece of paper. Burn up all of the things that don't serve you. Put it into smoke. Banish it. You understand? People, we going through the retrograde. This retrograde is real. Planes are falling out the sky, nosediving. They grounding the Bowens and all of that. Like the retrograde, the poles are really shifting, fam. The poles are shifting. The magnetic poles are shifting. It was snowing in Vegas when we was out there. Shout out to Vegas. Facts. The poles are shifting. Shit is hot where it used to be cold, cold where it used to be hot. That's the poles. Birds getting lost, nigga. That's the poles. Planes crashing. All of the little planes are crashing. Then you got the big planes crashing. So the retrograde got shit jumbled. It got it got the jumbotron jumbled up right now. So even in that, you persevere. You push through that shit, and you find yourself in the beginning of spring, springing forward. Did you conserve your energy? Did you challenge yourself? Did you have a 30-day challenge? You feel me? Were you preserving yourself? Was you in the gym getting the shit right? So, when t-shirt season catch you, you know what I'm talking about? You're not looking like a breatharian. You know, there are a lot of things that we should be doing, we could be doing, and we would be doing if we wasn't doing what we doing now, or if we wasn't in the rat race, or if we weren't on the hamster wheel. I'm on the hamster wheel. I'm in New York City. I keep reminding people there's no avoiding it. Doesn't matter. It's a hamster wheel. This is the Hunger Games. There's no way around it. you know this is the Hunger Games. I was in VA. I was in Norfolk. I was in a backyard smoking trees, right? There was a fucking lake in front of me, and then across the lake it was white men playing golf on caddies, and the mounds looked like ancient mounds, fam. Like, I felt like I had no worries in the world, just chilling with a lake. You don't see these things in New York. You're not exposed to this shit in New York. This is not my environment, my DNA response to environment. I'm surrounded by animals from a zoo, literally. There's a real zoo right around me. Hyenas, wild dogs, giraffes, all of that. I seen two giraffes fucking a few months ago. How about that? How's that to shit you can't unsee? How about that? You know, I wake up to them, these domesticated wild animals. I wake up to them in pain. They're in pain. They're not. They're crying out. They're not roaring. These animals are. What are they? They're domesticated, like niggas are. Okay, they're domesticated like niggas who are Americanized are. They're domesticated like Daniel Caesar with the blonde Caesar. They're domesticated like the people who come over here from different places and they Americanize and assimilate and you know what I mean and turn into, sorry to bother you, you know what I mean, wannabe Europe Negropeans. They're domesticated. They're not wild when you go to Africa, when you go to Jamaica, when you go to Panama, when you go to Trinidad, when you go to Botswana, when you go to Ghana, when you go to Nigeria. You're going to see a different strain. You're going to see a different pedigree. You're going to see a different example of people when you go to Dominican Republic, when you go to Cuba. If you niggas lived in Cuba or lived in Miami all your life, and then you go to Cuba thinking that you're gonna see them motherfuckers from Miami, you're sadly mistaken. You feel me? If you live in Washington Heights and all you see is Dominicans who could pass the a lot of paper bag tests, and you thinking that everybody is light skinned with shaped up with their eyebrows shaped up and whatnot in DR, no. And then you go to Dominican Republic, nigga, you're gonna have a rude awakening. So we're everywhere, and you're never there. We're in a lot of places. You know what I'm saying? We are in a lot of places. Let me see something real quick. And it ain't where you from, it's where you at. Anywhere you put me at, I'm gonna make it pop. I'm gonna make it pop. I'm gonna make it happen. You know, I am going to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Panama too, yeah. Panama, Honduras. Niggas think that it's mad white people or conquistadors in Honduras. And when they saw Dr. Sabi, they was like, "You from Honduras?" They not thinking that nobody of a darker complexion can be from outside of the U.S. or the hood and whatnot. And we're everywhere, family. And it's niggas that's undomesticated in these places. They don't have the same kind of timidness. They're not hanging a visa over niggas' heads. They're not hanging a green card. The people come over here with a motherfucking sword over their heads in some situations. They talk about grab your nuts. They come over here and somebody already got their nuts. How about that? They hold that visa and that green card over these niggas' hearts and their heads, and that's a fact. If you get deported, they're gonna ridicule you, they're gonna wash you up, and you're never gonna be able to touch bread anymore. So there's certain pedigrees of nigga that they don't let leave and come into America like that. Yeah, you feel me? The wild, undomesticated types that the zoo can't capture. Them niggas is still running wild in the safari. They're still running crazy, killing to eat. Thank you everybody that's cash apping. Um, Love and light. I appreciate y'all. They out there eating food. The way that I'm built, the way that I'm designed, just the navigator that's in me, I gotta go. Like I was traveling from a teenager. I was traveling from a teenager, and I shared with the family before when my father showed me his DNA test. Now I know the test. I gotta always preface this shit that I know the test is not 100% accurate. But like I said, I have new family members as a result of him doing his DNA. Somebody sent me AfricanAncestry.com. They said it is run by black scientists. I'm gonna tap into them. But when he showed me his DNA test, all of the places where my family originated from, those are all of the places that I used to go when I was young. And I ventured forth from my father's house in Brooklyn, and I started getting on buses going out of town every other weekend. You know what I mean? I was going on missions. Let's be clear, but I was traveling, and coincidentally all of these malls and all of these places that I was going, these outlets and whatever, they were places where my family and my bloodline originate from. I was out there liberating cotton. We'll talk about that in another episode. You feel me? But so it just showed me when I seen certain things that you're always on your path. You're never not really not on your path. You just walking. Imagine that you got this internal GPS and you're just following intuition. And I know many of us have gotten home even on a highway, on dark roads, even if you walking and you get lost in a forest or on a back street, you could tap into this internal GPS, and that shit can guide you certain places. You know what I'm talking about? It will point you in a direction that you have to be. So we're always moving when we're listening to that voice inside of our head. It's like Shorty on the GPS talking about turn left, go straight. You know what I mean? Make a U-turn. There's a voice, there's a GPS voice. It might not sound like that lady from Britain inside your head. It's whatever voice you niggas got programmed. But they're telling you how to move and where to move and stuff like that. So you're listening to this